Hey everyone, and welcome to Hooping Live. I am really excited about tonight's show because we have one of my dear friends, longtime friend actually, a teacher and kind of unifier of the Sarasota hoop community, Bonnie Brown, on the show tonight. She isn't here yet, but she will be here shortly. She's actually teaching a class right now, so she's going to be a little bit late joining us, but she is going to be talking about some awesome topics tonight. And the reason why we decided to do this topic is because it has been so highly talked about. I mean, every show that we have, people ask about hoop size, types of hoop, who's a good person to buy a hoop from, etc., etc. So she is a expert of crafting hoops. I mean, her hoops are stunning. All my hoops, well, I got this one from Beth Lavender, but this one is from Bonnie, and it is just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. She has all the tapes you could think of, and she's very creative and innovative, so she always has these new ideas that people haven't done yet. She can do what's trendy, but she's just on top of it. She's kind of a trend starter with hoops, so I definitely suggest checking out her stuff. Her website is outwardspiral.net. She is doing a new website launch soon, so be sure to check out that when it happens. We'll make sure that we have all the information posted on the Hooping Live Facebook page and the website, hopefully. I'm actually having this week off so I can actually work on all that stuff and not say I'm working on it, but actually do it. I know, crazy, right? So anyway, we're going to take this time while we wait for Bonnie and go ahead and do our typical intro. And if you guys have any questions that you want to ask ahead of time, you can ask her anything. She's also a teacher as well as a hoopcraft woman. So if you want to go ahead and post your questions or comments down below, I suggest getting them in now so you know that your question will be answered. And you don't have to, though. If you want to wait till she gets on the show, if you can't think of something right now, that's totally fine. But go ahead and leave them down below. And, of course, if you have something just for Jenna and I, like we do on every show, if you're working on something that you need help with, or if you want to just put something out there to the online hoop community that you want me to read out loud, I am glad to do that as well. So comment anything down below. We'll read it. We'll answer it. We'll do what we can. And we will go ahead and jump into that. So I'm going to go ahead and let Jenna introduce herself and do a quick demo. If you see her do anything during the demo that you're curious about, make sure you kind of pinpoint that moment, and we'll try to help you through it if you want to learn more about it. So Jenna, take it away.
All right. Hey, guys. As Audrey said, my name's Jenna. I've been on the show for a while, so if you don't know who I am already, well, welcome to this episode. And anyways, so I've been hooping for about 3 years now, just over 3 years, and I am local to the Lawrence, Kansas area. It's currently where I reside. I'm going to college at KU, so gotta live in Lawrence, you know. And yeah, I am gonna go do my
Freeze.
demo now because I really don't know what else to say.
Do that demo, girl.
Oh yeah.
Are you using your camera today?
What?
Oh, there you go. Never mind. You weren't clear for a second.
What?
Sorry. I'm crazy.
Oh.
There you go. Gorgeous. Cool. Love that. Nice.
All right. That's my demo.
Awesome. Good job. That was gorgeous. You just get better and better, like, every time. Let me, actually, I just realized I did not send the link to Bonnie, so let me send that to her really quick. Awesome. That was beautiful. And like I said, if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to see that Jenna did there, that you're curious about, go ahead and comment them down below. And we also have Bonnie coming in shortly, so if you're curious about anything to do with hoop teaching, like I said, she's a hoop teacher. She is a beautiful dancer. She is expert. And let me tell you guys what, she is an expert on fire performance. Like, can't even start to explain. And also, like I said, an expert in hoop crafting. She knows about every material there is. She knows about the tapes, just everything. She's amazing. I absolutely love her. So, and she's even, like I said, started her own. Like, she literally built the hooping community in Sarasota, Florida. So, if you're in a small town or a place that doesn't have a hooping community and you're questioning about being a teacher, starting a community, wanting to make your own hoops, this is going to be your opportunity to learn all of that. So, like I said, we're going to have a lot of comments. As I see, we already have a lot coming in. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below now before she comes in, because I have a feeling the show is probably, we're not going to get through one. But if we do, that's awesome. But just go ahead and leave those down below. And for the time being, I'll go ahead and do a quick demo. I will give you guys a quick disclaimer. I have not hooped really this week. I have been really busy. My best friend's birthday was this past week, and I planned a birthday party for her, and it's taken up most of my time, so I haven't really had time for anything else except for her, and my daddy was in town too, so we kind of had a lot of stuff going on. So I haven't been able to hoop a whole lot, but I'm hoping that that's okay. Sometimes abstinence makes the heart grow fonder. Okay. Anyway. Let's see, which one looks better? That one. Okay. All right. Good enough. Okay, so that felt good. Felt really good. Okay, so it looks like we have a lot of questions coming in right now. So let me go ahead and grab my chair again. Well, it's been stolen. Somebody wants my chair. Not like you have every chair in the entire house. For those of you who don't know, this is my little Pookmeister. His name is Chakra. And he loves me. Okay. Thank you. Butthole in the face. So let's see here. Let me get back and shocker shear. That is not a toy. Let me get to those questions. Stop distracting myself with my cat. Julie M.A. says, Audrey, how do you become a hula hoop teacher? So I'm going to go ahead and mark that as a Bonnie question. I can only talk about really being an online teacher for YouTube and stuff, so if that's kind of what you mean, then maybe like let me know. But being an actual teacher for real-life students in a real-life situation and not in the internet world, that's definitely a Bonnie question that we can have answered for you. Brittany Martinez says, I'm dying to learn kickstarts, please. We can work on that. Soul Fino says, Jenna, your top is gorgeous. Did you make it?
No, I did not. I actually got this shirt from a local shop here in Lawrence called Third Planet. I think sometime last week there was a sidewalk sale in Lawrence, and it's just when basically every shop on Mass Street, which is like our main downtown street, they have like a ginormous blowout sale and everything is super marked down. So that's where I got this wonderful shirt from, and I also got another pair of shorts, but they don't look good together, so I'm not going to wear them together. But yes, I wish I had made this. That would be awesome and crafty, and I am neither of those things.
You are awesome.
Gosh, thanks.
Not yourself awesomeness. Cool. Well, thank you. Yeah, Jenna's shirt is pretty epic. She also says, shout out, love to you all, other lovely peoples, and elsewheres tonight. Awesome. Carla Karma says, I'm starting my minis journey. Any tips on basic tricks and transitions I should learn? Thanks. Yeah. Do you do a lot of minis, Jenna?
I mean, I do play around with my minis here and there. If I'm going to be doing any kind of doubles work, I normally try to use 2 of my like 36-inch polys, just because I like using bigger hoops to do doubles. That way you can have the option to do both on and off body, both of the tricks, because I don't know, I like it a lot better than minis. But I guess basic tricks that you could learn with minis are 2-beat weave and reverse 2-beat weave, and then 3-beat weave and reverse 3-beat weave. Those are weaves are kind of like a staple move when it comes to mini hooping. So
absolutely. And I will get to the oh my gosh, I just realized I missed a bunch of questions from earlier on. I'm going to answer that question and go back to the top. I apologize about that. So Carla Karma, she said, any tips or basic tricks for one second. For yeah, minis. Anyway, so ow, Audrey, you just hurt yourself. So yeah, with the minis, these are easy minis. I like to at least have them where, this is a different size, I can extend from my wrist or my grip to my inner kind of armpit area. I think these are 20 inches or so. I'm not sure. I should measure them because I kind of forgot. I haven't played with these in a long time. But yeah, like Jenna said, you want to learn the basics where you just understand the planes. You want to understand doing, you know, single time, which is where the hoops are going in the same time formation. This is why I'm like not that good of a teacher. Oh, geez, Audrey. Bonnie is really good at explaining this stuff. She is like a pro at it. She's figuring her stuff out right now. Craig is talking to her and helping her get on the show. she's having a couple technical difficulties. But anyway, this is kind of like first time, double or split time when the hoops are going at separate motions, which can kind of look cool. You can learn, you know, kind of doing the basic cat eyes. One thing about minis is you really want to learn how to keep your planes even so they're not going like inward like this and they are being straight. It's kind of hard to do, honestly. Baxter actually had us work on something that was teaching us how to keep them very straight. Other things like basic tricks, that was the question, right? Basic tricks, like,
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah, any transitions. Okay, so yeah, like Jenna said, the basic weave is good to know. Always, I suggest learn things in the opposite direction. So learn weaving backwards as well. The 3-beat weave, which is this move. Oops. I'm trying to do it really slow so you guys can see it. It's pretty cool. The way that I learned the 3-beat was, in fact, doing it with poi. Oh, it feels really weird. I haven't done a 3-beat weave in like months, so this is like, whoa, man, this is trippy. I'm so weird. So, anyway, you also want to like just work on your basic tricks as well. And what's great about minis is that you can learn what you would do with your regular sized hoop in your left hand. So, like, it's kind of like Tiana, how she used like one mini hoop for a while and would do all the same things that she would do, but with just like one hoop. And then you learn them with like the opposite hand, which is really good to know because when you do it, you can do stuff like this where it's like split time, iso pops, where they just come out like this. Woo! And you can, ouch, you can hurt yourself. You can also do the, I think it's called a windmill, which looks like that. You can do it the opposite way. I think there's other things too that you can do. I've not played with these in so long, but what's cool about these is that you can bring them close together, or you can bring them far apart. You can do rolls that are kind of like together where you roll it and you can roll it, whatever you want to work on. There's also the isolation part of it. I know I'm kind of babbling right now. I'm going to let this go in a second, but the isolation. So work on being able to isolate the hoop with your left hand and your right hand mini. They're two different sizes, so when you can do stuff like a lot of illusion tricks and stuff, which are great because you can be like, you can, let's see. Come into something where you're just kind of, like, it's almost like a transition to go into an isolation. You can do things like that whole thing where you drop it down. And I don't know, that minis are intense, but pretty much like Jenna said, do the basic weave, understand isolations, and work on pops. Because if you can do isolations and pops and different weaves, you'll pretty much be able to make anything look cool. I mean, in my opinion, that's how it works. Because, I mean, I'll do stuff like this, which are just behind the back iso pops. And then I'll just do the things I do with my normal hoop with my minis and just add them together, and it ends up looking cool. But poi does help with this. You can learn different poi moves, like thread the needle. I think there's something called like the butterfly. I can't remember. Oh yeah, it's like Jeez, how does a butterfly go? Do you remember, Jenna?
No, I don't think I ever learned that one, but is it like similar to the fountain?
Maybe that's not a thing they can do with hoops. I can't even remember. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Okay, I'm letting this go. That was a mean thing to ask me because now I'm so rusty. I'm like trying to oil it up. So let's get back to the questions I missed earlier, and I apologize about that. Michelle Lauren says, "Hi, ladies. You guys are so lucky to find each other and call your friends, mentors, and family in the hooping community. I've been a bit shy when it comes to putting myself out there with classes and gatherings. I would be going alone. Any tips on how to overcome social anxiety? Also, I know you get tons of emails, but I wrote to Hooping Live and would love to be a part of the team. Would love to hear back from you soon." And social anxiety with hooping is something that is kind of to each his own. You really need to really discover yourself with that. I think that would be a really good topic for Bonnie to answer because she sees a lot of students come in not only to her hoop jam but also her classes. I just saw her actually pop in, so she should get her video fixed here in a second. But the way that I overcame anxiety, honestly, was realizing how amazing hooping is. And if you compare yourself to all the amazing hoopers, you'll be like, oh, I'm not good. But if you are doing these basic tricks that to yourself feel amazing, to the average person, they are going to be amazing. So if you want to just maybe take that in and realize that you are awesome in yourself, and if you have that confidence, it will show through, which can be hard, though I understand confidence can be hard to overcome. And thank you for the sweet comment. We are very lucky. I think the whole hooping community is a very lucky community. I think that we're all filled with amazing people that are all very supportive with each other. And Hooping Live is great because I feel like a lot of people that are shy can come in and talk and not feel like they're being seen or judged, which I really don't think the hooping community judges that much. But I was actually talking to Bonnie the other day about this, how hooping is slowly becoming mainstream, more so than it was before, and people can start feeling a little bit more timid by it, maybe because of this. And in terms of your email, we are working on that this week. We are planning on getting all of our emails organized and getting back to you guys. For those of you who have wanted to be a part of the Hooping Live team, I guarantee you will have some sort of spot in it because we need all the help we can get. But without further ado, I will have Bonnie answer your question, but I would love for her to introduce herself. She just popped in. So Bonnie, would you like to take the floor?
Yeah, I just want to make sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. Yay, I'm here.
Yay!
Okay, having some timing challenges and technical difficulties. So anything I need to be caught up with that's going on?
No, we've been saving all your questions for you. I had people ask questions before you came on the show, so we have some that we're going to answer. But I would love for you to maybe give a quick kind of intro about who you are and maybe plug your website, talk what you're all about, and then maybe if you want to do a quick comment on getting over social anxiety with hooping.
Okay. So my name is Bonnie Brown. My business is Outward Spiral. I'm based out of Sarasota, Florida, which is close to Tampa, if you're not familiar with the Florida area. I have been hooping for about 7 years now, and I teach full-time, make and sell hoops. I have a business where I'm selling hoops online, and also do performances. Let's see, overcoming social anxiety. Oh, that's a heavy one. Well, I guess, you know, that really goes to your own personal confidence about just feeling comfortable about who you are and how you feel about the way that you dance and move, and maybe even getting to some deeper issues of like feeling comfortable with who you are, you know. So hooping does seem to be a really good avenue for a lot of that, and being able to like crack open a lot of people and helping them to feel beautiful in their movement and feel confident about who they are and being able to share their movements with other people. Were they asking about like taking first steps to dance in front of other people? Is that kind of along the veins of what they were asking?
Yeah, she's been a bit shy when it comes to putting herself out there with classes and gatherings. So pretty much going to classes and hoop jams and stuff, she just feels kind of like intimidated about going.
Oh, well, just get over that. Do it. Just you gotta take the first step. I mean, you can only kind of practice on your own and, you know, try to build up your self-confidence for so long, and eventually you just got to jump in there and do it. And just know that, you know, the majority of the people that are there want you to succeed and want you to do well, and they were at least in the same situation that you are now at one point, if they're not still there and still wondering what everybody thinks about them, you know, whatever you're gearing your mindset towards, like if you're thinking that people are judging you in a negative way, then you're going to create that reality that's going to show up externally. So just, you know, changing your mindset and just trusting that people, you know, love you and want the best for you and want to see you do your best. But, you know, really it's about taking that first step and then getting confirmation that you did it.
Absolutely, I love that. Thank you, Bonnie. That's great. Jenna, do you want to maybe put some input into that? Because I know that you were feeling a little bit of anxiety when you first started too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anxiety is something that I've dealt with for a pretty long time in my life. And I did feel a lot of anxiety when it came to hooping, whether it was hooping in front of my parents or any of my family, or hooping in front of strangers at like a hoop jam in a park or in like a workshop or something like that. But it just takes time, I think, to really get past it, and baby steps the whole way is really going to help. You don't want to just throw yourself into something that's going to make you super anxious, because while it could help, like you could just get over it by throwing yourself in, you could also have that other end of the spectrum where you throw yourself in and it's way too much to handle and you freak out and stuff like that. So definitely just take it with some baby steps. And like Bonnie said, everyone who you're going to be hooping in front of, whether it's at a jam, would you hush? I'm on the show. Sorry, Thor is being a little annoying tonight. Anyways, like Bonnie said, if you're going to be at a jam or anything like that, the people who are there want you there, and they want to see you hoop, and they want to see you succeed. So just try to always remember that when you're going to jams or anything like that. Nobody's there to judge you or demean you or anything like that.
Absolutely. Good, good. That's awesome, Jenna. Thank you for giving that insight as well. I think that hopefully that answers your questions. If you have any further questions, that is a good thing to ask, and I'm sure a lot of people have questions about it, so thank you for the awesome question. I'm going to ask, the first question that we had for Bonnie was, how do you become a hula hoop teacher?
So, lots of different ways. The way that I went about it was I was a teacher already. I was trained as a yoga teacher, and so got into hooping and felt like I learned enough about it and had taken enough classes that I could start to kind of form my own teaching style. I know a lot of people right now are doing teacher certifications, so if you don't have a background in teaching already, that's a really good option, because they'll give you not only some of the vocabulary and the skeletal structure of breaking down things for your students, but they'll also, or they should at least, I would imagine, have some courses or some talks about dealing with handling a class and all the basic stuff that comes with that.
Now, is having this certification actually something that you need to have, or is it just kind of like a, I mean, because a lot of people, you know, if you're an esthetician, you should have a certification in it, but is it actually something you have to have?
It depends on where you're going to be teaching. If you want to teach at certain gyms or spas, sometimes they require that you have some sort of certification. And it may not necessarily have to be in hoop dance, but if it is, a lot of times, especially if it's, I believe it's ACE certified, that will suffice. I already had a certification in yoga teacher training, so I had some sort of certification, which gave me a little bit of authenticity, but it's not required, not in the same way that you're talking about, like with estheticians and stuff. But some places that you may want to teach would like to see that.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, Bonnie. And for those of you who are just kind of hopping into the show, this is Bonnie Brown. She is a hoop, she's an expert hoop teacher, started her own hoop community in Sarasota, Florida. She crafts her own hoops, expert crafts. I'm actually have one of her hoops right here, as well as many that are beautiful hoops. And she has a website, outwardspiral.net, and you can get any sort of hoop. And we're actually teaming together to make a hoopingLIVE hoop soon. So we have a lot of stuff that's really great that's going on right now. So if you have any questions about anything at all, if it happens to do something with teaching or hoop crafting, hoop sizes, the reason why we want to focus on the actual hoop itself is because we get so many questions between Bonnie, Jenna, and I. We are asked all the time, what size hoop do you have? What kind of hoop do you use? Do you use tape? Do you use a Velcro tape? Like, what are you using? So we wanted to kind of get a general topic going on about that, but it looks like we have a lot of questions to show, so we'll kind of answer as we go, and if we have time at the end, we can have maybe a general synopsis on that, but for now, we're just going to go ahead and go through the comments. The next question I want to get answered is from Amitha. Oh, says, love to know technique behind the angled jump through. And I will show that in just 1 second, but I would like to get this next question answered while I get prepared for that, which is from Schnell. Hi, Schnell. Which is, where is a good place to buy good quality LED? Bonnie?
Well, there's lots of good ones. My LEDs from Astral Hoops. I've seen some decent ones from Moon Hoops as well, like the Future Hoop. I would definitely recommend. I haven't had personal experience with the Future Hoop when you're talking about some of the high-end ones, but the as far as like a really good quality beginner hoop, I recommend Moon Hoops to my students. Not to say that there aren't other really good quality LED hoops out there. There are lots of manufacturers out there. I would recommend a really good resource is I believe it's Astral Hoops has a place where they compare all the different specs of the name brand LED hoops. You can also go onto Unity of the Hula Hoopers on Facebook. Don't start a new thread about it because it's been done so many times. All you have to do is search, and you can come up with all the different threads where people have already responded to those, and you'll see people's comments and complaints about all the different ones. If you want to get totally overwhelmed with all the different comments of those, lots of different specifics. Those are the main two that I use and know well. I know Phoenix has got some good ones. The Helix is made by Phoenix, and then I believe there's the newest one that hasn't come out, it's made by SpinFX, and that one is the I forget what that one is called right now.
I can't remember that either.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I would recommend using some of those resources.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And like Bonnie said, I also own a couple Astral Hoops. I also own a Cosmic Hoops, which I haven't heard a lot about him lately, but I think he's a great guy. I think Bonnie actually knows him personally. What?
He's in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah. And anything from North Carolina, I trust. And Jenna, what LED hoops have you used that you really like?
I currently have a Proton Labs Helix. It's a smart hoop. I really like it. They have a lot of mixed reviews on pretty much any hooping forum ever, but I really like my Helix. The only complaint is battery gap, and it is rattly, but I can put up with both, so it's not a big deal. And I've also had a Mood Hoops, but like one of their basic, just like standard LEDs, and I always suggest either Mood Hoops or Sativa Creations on Etsy when beginner hoopers are wanting LED hoops, because I know both brands are very, very sturdy. They can withstand a lot of drops and breaks and everything like that, and I know they're both really good companies, so I definitely suggest Mood Hoops and Sativa Creations. And I've also played with like an Astral hoop, because one of my, or not Astral, the Evoke or whatever it is, my good friend Heather has an Evoke, and I really like it.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so hopefully you can take from all of that and kind of realize that there is no one hoop, in my personal opinion, that is the best LED hoop. I think to each his own. But definitely, like Bonnie said, go on forums and see what other people say, because you can't get more honest than that, and kind of find out, maybe even, Bonnie actually got me turned on to this, is having a hoop journal, and I've talked about this on the show before, where you write about hooping, maybe what comes up during hoop dance, ideas, notes, anything that has to do with hooping. Just write down and figure out, you know, stuff for yourself, or maybe write down a page like, what do you want in an LED hoop? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to like pay, etc., etc., and then find what works for you. So that could be a good idea. But anyway, let's move forward to the comment that we passed through, which is the angled jump through. I'm assuming that she is talking about this move where the hoop is angled and you jump through it. Do you guys think that's what she's talking about?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah? Okay. So pretty much what that is you need to know how to do the forward weave. And you also need to know how to jump through the hoop. So if you get a good grasp on this forward weave, then what you're going to do is, as it's coming across your body onto the, where your arm will be angled like this. So if you're left-handed, it'll be on your right side. If you're right-handed with your weave, it'll be on your left side. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about it for a right-handed hooper. So I'm coming around to this side of my body, to the left side of my body, and as I'm coming around, what you want to do is jump through the hoop and bring it out. Now you can make it as angled as you want. What I like to do, I'll come from a forward motion. As I'm coming around, I like to think of the hoop. Let's see if I can get it right there. Okay. So if I move it just like that, there's just enough room for me to stand in the hoop about right here and come out of the hoop back into that forward weave. So if you work on that, you can figure out the spacing that you need to get that perfectly angled hoop, or that perfectly angled jump. So maybe you need a lot more room and you need to bring the hoop out a lot more further to get through it. Just play with different, almost like widths to jump through. I like to see how skinny I can get, almost as if my hoop's still weaving and I'm just going like straight through it almost, but with a solid jump. Also, you want to think about how high you want to jump. If you want to keep it kind of low, you can do that, or if you want to bring it kind of high, you can do that too, and it depends on how dramatic you want to make it. When I do my jump throughs, I like to kind of like bring my body out almost like dramatically, like it took a lot of effort to do it or something when it really didn't. But so that's just kind of a couple tips. I don't know if that was the movie talking about. If it is and you have any further questions, let me know in the comments below and I can have someone else explain it to you if that didn't make any sense. But yeah, anyway, let's move forward to the questions because we do have a lot of questions here, which is awesome, you guys. Nicolina says, hello, ladies. I do have a question for Miss Bonnie. what would be the best advice to give to a hoop dance teacher on how to make a hoop community and sustain it? Thank you as always.
Okay, so how to create a hoop community. Well, I feel like the first ingredient is consistency. You have to set your classes or set your hoop jams, multiple things, and you have to be consistent with those. Whatever your time and place that you're setting those for, you have to be there. And I guess the second thing would also be that commitment and dedication to that. You have to set a particular space and time and just commit to being there whenever you say you're going to be there. I've been doing the hoop jam here in Sarasota for 5 years now, and then I'll have people like this last week. I had somebody that was at one of the first hoop jams that was there during the first year, just now got around to coming back to it. So I mean, people do kind of remember it, and they come back around, and people kind of come in and out of the circle, particularly in my area, because we kind of have a transient area. If you have an area that's a little bit more rooted in locals that live around there, it might be a little bit easier to create some consistency. But it's also helpful if you have a few key members of your group that are also committed to it and committed to doing it with you and being there every time.
Absolutely. I actually oops, someone's echoing. I actually was the first day I was ever in Sarasota, like when I drove from Kansas City to come to Sarasota to go to Ringling, my first day was a Tuesday, and the first thing I went to was Bonnie's Hoop Jam. I came in town and I got some message from some actually kind of creepy guy saying like there's a hoop jam with some woman named Bonnie and you should go to it. And I went there and Bonnie wasn't actually there. But all I know is that I felt instantly connected to everyone there, and then, you know, when I eventually met Bonnie, it was like, and like the universe just like brought us together. So it was really cool, and I promise you, if you have the ability, like Bonnie said, and the time and the commitment to make a hoop community in your area, you'll probably just like get some amazing relationship and create relationships out of it. Jenna, you've been a part of a few hoop communities as well in the Kansas City area. Do you want to talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, for sure. I primarily go to the Lawrence, Kansas hoop jam or flow community that we have every Sunday, and I actually helped my friend Heather start that, and what Bonnie says is definitely true, that you need to be consistent and you need to be committed, or people just aren't going to take your jam seriously or anything like that. But I've also been to, well, I haven't been to the Drum Tribe yet in Kansas City at Loose Park, but I am planning on going. It just so happens that the Drum Tribes are Monday nights during Hooping Live. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to get like mobile Wi-Fi out there or something without having to spend like an exorbitant amount of money on it. That way I can maybe stream from the park or something. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. Yeah, that's... The KC Flow community is pretty small, but people come out of the woodworks for it, so it's kind of cool.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, like I said, I'm part of the community here. So I did start a hoop community, though, at Ringling, which was, I guess, the closest that I got to a hoop community. And what I did was I just put forth the effort. I put out flyers. I made videos, and I hooped. I hooped outside on campus, and people came, and I had a bunch of hoops, and people would come out and say, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I teach them, and eventually I think I had like 20 hoopers at my hoop jam, which was like my maximum. I don't know what's going to happen with the hoop jam next year now that I'm not there. I mean, I didn't really continue it though. Like Bonnie said, you have to sustain and like be consistent with it, or people like either A, won't take you seriously, or will kind of feel discouraged. But for me, no one really showed up anymore. So I really couldn't continue doing it. But It was college, so it's different. But if you guys have any further questions about making your own community, you can email me at info@hoopinglive.com. I can forward it to Bonnie, or you can always directly contact her. She is, like I said, Outward Spiral, outwardspiral.net. She has, all of her information on there. You can also like her on Facebook. Jenna, I think you're echoing. Thank you. So let's move on to the next question. How do I find hoopers around me? Bonnie, do you have any tips for that?
I guess there's Hoop City. I believe that there's even a feature in that where you can check for hoopers in close to your zip code. You can also use the Unity of the Hula Hoopers on Facebook. And a lot of people will just post on there and say, hey, I'm new to this area. Are there any hoopers around here or any jams going on? I've seen people post there and get some good feedback that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would probably be my best suggestion.
I'm gonna agree with Bonnie on. Sorry, yeah, I'm gonna agree with Bonnie on that. Just if you go to like hoopstudy.com, you can find your hoopers around you. There's a bunch of groups to find people. So moving forward, we also have a comment from Sophino that said, shout out to all of you. Bonnie, I think you're echoing. I think you're echoing. Can you mute your mic? Thank you. Okay. So let me see. We have so many questions, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to get through them as much as I can. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, my gosh. Sorry, guys. You guys are so awesome today. I've never seen so many comments before. This was an awesome topic to have going. I'm starting my mini's journey and love your footwork today. Okay, so before I get to the next comment, I do want Bonnie to have some time to talk a little bit for like a couple minutes about hoop size and hoop tubing, types of hoop and whatnot, because we get tons of questions saying, what size hoop should I have? What kind of hoop should I have? And, people say, oh, Audrey, what kind of, I was talking to Bonnie about this the other day, or actually like yesterday, how you'll see one of your favorite hoopers and you'll say, well, if I have a hoop that's exactly like theirs, or if I dress exactly like they hoop, primarily with the hoop size, they'll think that they're going to be able to hoop like their idol hooper, when in reality that's really not going to be the case in most situations. So, Bonnie, do you want to go ahead and take the floor and talk a little bit about sizing and tubing and weighting and all that good stuff?
Sure. All right. Well, first of all, I just want to address a lot of people that recently got into hooping, because I feel like unfortunately, if you started hooping after about 2009, 2010, then you probably had a pretty good amount of pressure on getting like a small hoop or a polypro hoop. Those were really coming into, at least around here on the East Coast, it was getting pretty popular. For those of us that started hooping before then, or if you were lucky enough to be inducted into the hoop tribe using one of these really big hoops that were like 40 inches or larger, then I feel like you got a really good start to hooping. Some of the really big hoops, and again, I'm saying 40 inches or bigger, are really amazing for body rocking. And by body rocking, I mean you're able to actually dance in the hoop. So you're not just at the mercy of the rhythm of the hoop that's going around, but you're able to actually dance within the hoop. Having a large hoop like that really moves slow so that you're able to take your time and learn the rhythm and learn how your body likes to move within that rhythm. If you have a much smaller hoop, then you're kind of at the mercy of that rhythm, and maybe you don't have time to really explore some of the other smaller, really sweet details of that movement. So if you started off with one of these smaller hoops, 38 or smaller, I would recommend try out a really large hoop and just go back to that and see how that feels. If you're, I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages to both. Some of the really big ones are amazing for body rocking and actually dancing in your hoop and getting a lot of the core movements, angle hooping, shoulder hooping, waist and hips. Those are amazing for that and learning how to actually dance in it. Of course, they're pretty heavy on the joints, and you're not going to be able to accomplish like some iso pops or flowers and these types of things. Those types of movements are going to be a little bit better for smaller, lighter hoops. And then so in the beginning, when maybe in the first like couple of years of hooping, it's not uncommon for hoopers to have a nice collection of all those different sizes so that you can try them out. Like the large ones are going to be really good for, again, dancing, but maybe you're not able to do a horizontal weave where you're bringing the hoop in towards the body because it's hitting your legs. Or maybe you aren't able to do some of the off-body stuff because it's a little too damaging to the wrist. So switching between the two for learning different moves is helpful, and then eventually you want to be able to have some kind of compromise between the two so that you're able to do all of those moves on your kind of main size hoop. I just recently took a workshop from Beth Lavender, and she used the analogy of your hoop being a garment that you wear. And I really liked this analogy because it's like when you've got a really beautiful spinny skirt and you dance with it, you're wearing it, which is similar to how you move with your hoop. You're wearing that hoop when you're dancing with it, especially one that you use for on body. And if you haven't worn a hoop, it's like going shopping for clothes. You don't know what size that you wear, so you kind of have to try on some and figure out what you like. And different people like different things. Maybe some people like more loose and comfortable clothing, and other people want them tight and slim-fitting, or maybe you want it loose and comfy sometimes, and other times tighter. It's kind of similar with your hoops, using that same analogy. A nice big hoop is like maybe a comfy pair of sweatpants that you can really like find your groove in and be comfortable, whereas like a small polypro hoop is something that's a little bit tighter and quicker, and every move of your body is going to show up in that particular hoop. So the bigger hoops are good to start off with because you're going to have a bigger margin of error. So if I make a mistake and I'm in a really big hoop, it takes a lot longer for that rotation to happen. And so therefore, if I make a mistake, it may not even show up in that rotation. The smaller ones are going to show all the little fine details of your movement. So when you've refined your dancing, you've refined your movements, then you want to see that. You want to see all the fine-tuning that you've done. So you want a smaller hoop that you can see that. In the beginning, you don't necessarily want to see all the fine-tuning because you know, it's a little loose and maybe sloppy in the beginning. So I guess that's what I wanted to say about the size, and then I also wanted to talk a little bit about the different types of tubings, but I'll check back in with Audrey. Do we have time to do that as well?
You know, we have a lot. Can you turn your thing on silent for just a second? Thank you. Okay, sorry guys, we have a lot of echoing going on tonight. I am going to let Bonnie finish off what she wants to say about the tubing. I didn't realize that we were going to get so many questions tonight. So tomorrow I will be organizing the questions, and if you want to check back, we will try to have your comments answered. If anything, maybe we can do another video solely just on this, because this video has gotten more questions than I actually got for when I had Hoopalicious on. So this is a huge, you know, compliment to Hooping Live and to Bonnie, and this is just amazing. You guys are just like, I mean, this is incredible. I'm scrolling through these comments, and you guys are just on top of it. This is incredible. I'm really sorry that we're not going to get through all the comments today. If we did, we're going to be here until about midnight at this point. So I don't think everyone wants to stay here till midnight, so I am going to let Bonnie finish off some information that she wanted to share, which I think is also dear to my heart and important to everyone else to know about hoops and the crafting of hoops in general. So I'm going to let her finish, wrap up by giving her information. Jen and I will say our goodbyes, and we'll see you next week. But tomorrow I am going to be dedicating a lot of time to the show, so be sure to check back tomorrow to see the answer to your comment or question. And Bonnie, I'm going to go ahead and give you back the floor and finish off on what you wanted to say.
Yeah, if you have a specific question about teaching or performing or hoops, you're also welcome to direct those specifically to me. There's a contact form on my website, outwardspiral.net, and you're welcome to contact me there. I also have a shop on Etsy, and that is it's, if you just search on Etsy for Outward Spiral, you'll come across it. But there's also a link on my website, outwardspiral.net, and you can go onto that. And I actually have a coupon code for anybody that's on the Hooping Live. So I have I believe it's a 10% discount on that, and the code is hoopingLIVE. So I don't think that there's any difference in the capitalization, and there's no spaces in that. So you're welcome to check out those. So I'm just going to go over briefly the different sizes of tubings, and I'll try to go over that pretty quickly. So you've got your polyethylene tubing. So this is like your standard black tubing. This is the 160 PSI, and this one, wait, is this the 160? Actually, this one is the 160. So 160 is just a little bit bigger. 160 is 1 inch outer diameter. If you're buying it in the store, they call it 3/4, but they're referring to the inside of the tubing. So that's the outside 1 inch. The 100 PSI is 7/8. So that's 7/8 inch outer diameter. It's just a little bit smaller than 1 inch. So if, like, you look on your measuring stick here, you've got you've got 10 spaces in between each inch, and so that's 8 spaces in between there. So you've got 7 out of the 8. So it's really close to being 1 inch. Those are both your standard black tubing. And you also have the 125, which is also polyethylene. And this is a 3/4 inch outer diameter, which is really similar to what a lot of people are using in the Polypro, which is the Polypro 3/4 inch. So, and the main difference between the polyethylene tubing and the black tubing is weight. The black tubing is going to be a lot heavier, and but also the Polypro tubing has a different density to it, so it doesn't have quite as much like springiness to it as the polyethylene does. Also, you've got Hdpe. This one is a 7/8. So again, that's about the same as the 100 PSI in the polyethylene. So, but Hdpe stands for high density polyethylene. So that's going to be, it's a lot less springy than the other black stuff. And then you've also got even smaller ones. I'm just going to put these out there because people are always asking me about what sizes that these are. So you've got the 3/4 inch, just for comparison. This one is the 3/4 inch, and this one is 5/8. So the 5/8 is just slightly smaller than the 3/4, and obviously going to be a lot lighter because it's smaller. And then you've even got the 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch is about the size of a Sharpie marker, so that's super thin. So that's about it for those. I could go on in more detail about all the different weights of them and applications that you would want for each one, and maybe that's something that I should just put out for a tutorial video on its own. And if you have any questions about any of those, again, you can direct them specifically to me or to the info@hoopinglive.com. But I know Audrey is doing a really awesome job with this Hooping Live and is doing her best to keep up with all of your comments and questions. So I want to help out how I can if you want to direct some of those to me, just to help speed up getting to all of your questions. And also, again, the Unity of the Hula Hoopers, Ann Mandala is taking care of that right now, and she's doing an awesome job. So helping out, connecting hoopers to other hoopers so that you can ask everybody questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bonnie, so much. That is... Can you mute yourself again, Bonnie? Okay. Can you mute yourself again while I talk, just so everyone probably needs to mute right now. Thank you. Okay, so, sorry, we're having, like, audio difficulties today. I don't know why, but, yes, thank you, Bonnie. That was perfect, and I'm going to be putting show notes specifically on this video so you guys can see about each type of tubing, like when she talked about tubing, sizing, types of hoops, so you guys can go back and see everything that she talked about today, because I think this is a very informational episode more than a kind of a free-for-all chatty video, kind of like last week, which I really like. I like having a little bit of structure to the videos. I'm sorry we didn't get to all of your comments. I think this is actually a first where we didn't, but we are actually over time right now. We are actually at 10:02, so we do need to wrap up. But like I said, tomorrow we will be getting back to all your comments. And like Bonnie said, she is going to be actually, so I can make a quick awesome announcement, Outward Spiral, or Bonnie Brown, is going to be uniting with Hooping Live. So we are going to have a lot of awesome things going on in the next, month, and we're going to have a lot of cool stuff happening where you guys can win stuff, learn stuff, and be able to purchase some really cool items for being a Hooping Live hoopist, hoop viewer. I don't know. We'll figure out a name. If you guys have any creative names for what Hooping Live viewers could be called, let me know in the comments below, because that would be like epic if you guys had like a name. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and let Jenna wrap up and say her goodbyes. Yeah, go ahead, Jenna.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching tonight. We loved having Bonnie on. And if you want to find my links to my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter, my Tumblr, my links either on the Hooping Live website, hoopinglive.com, or you can go to my flavors page, which is flavors.me/Jenna Drake. Both places have all of my updated links and everything like that. So thanks for being on here tonight, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenna. And again, I want to give a huge thank you to Bonnie for being on the show tonight. She really made tonight's show awesome, and we will be, crossing our fingers that she'll be on more often and spreading her wise knowledge with us. And for those of you who don't know what this show is, this is Hooping Live. We are every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or now Eastern Daylight Time, apparently is what we are now. So if I put EDT, that's, just Google it. And we have our show pretty much 9 p.m. in Florida time, and we talk about hooping and everything there is to do with hooping. We have tried to get some of the biggest names of hooping on the show. We will be working really hard at that. If you want to be a part of the team, you can email us at info@hoopinglive.com. Maybe send a little synopsis of why you would like to work for us, or what would you like to do. It is volunteer-based as of now, so we can help grow, but if you want to just be a part of an awesome team, then be sure to email us. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email me personally at Audrey@hoopinglive.com, or you can do the info@hoopinglive.com. .com, lots of emails, and I promise I will get through to them when I can, and Bonnie will be helping me out with those. I'm going to stop chatting. I also want to say thank you to Craig for helping manage all the comments tonight. He's always awesome with helping us out with stuff, even though he's behind the scenes. And thank you, Jenna. As always, you are my wonder wall, after all. And until next time, guys, I will see you, and be well, and hoop on. Bye!